All right, all right, all right. Another day of this Bitcoin pumpity pumping action here. We're in resistance once again, but we're just gonna have to see how we do, guys. We're just gonna have to see how we do. Like I said, it's not a short. It's just not gonna be a short for me right now. I need to see Bitcoin struggle. We're not struggling. We're gonna have to see some sort of consolidation. We're gonna have to see it because it's not gonna be a V-shaped recovery to the downside. That's not happening. At least I don't see that happening. But we're at resistance again. Kind of pushed up through that 786 there, but that VWAP here. Um, this is the VWAP from the high. So the one, how are we right there? So the 126. So the $126,000 high is that VWAP. Is That's where this VWAP is plotted. This anchored VWAP. It's anchored there. So you can see how we're just below that. And this is pinned to the downside. So um I don't really expect too much. But we gonna see. We gonna see. We gonna be smart about this thing though. We ain't giving no money to the market. We're gonna be smart about this thing. We're just not gonna jump in the short just because we might be at some resistance. It's also pivotal low resistance as well. So right through here, go 786 anchored VWAP from the all-time high for Bitcoin and pivot resistance. Put it right here. Pivot resistance. So you see where we got that little wick off of right here. Right here. So yesterday we saw that we were struggling a little bit right here, these prior highs over here in this shelf of volume here. We started to stall out a little bit right there. We got a little bit of a pullback right into an area where I thought potentially price could come to for, an entry. It hit it perfectly to a T. It was a little small freaking move, little small. There ain't no big moves happening to the downside right now, just little small stuff, but it worked to a T. So if you took that, I'm happy for you. I did not take it. I'm doing the altcoins right now because if Bitcoin pump, they're gonna pump even harder in my opinion. But we're at this, this volume node right here with this pivot low right here, which can be a barrier. And also the anchor VWAP from the all-time high is what we're looking at right now. So good, good, good. Nothing's really changed yesterday, even though we're hitting like certain areas of resistance. Nothing's really changed for me. Um, I wanted to be cautious yesterday, even though we was hitting some resistance because we had not tapped into the golden pocket 786 just yet, and it was a possibility that markets will open and price would just push into that. So, like I said, put a pause on that. Open mouth. Bollinger Band. You never want to fade an open mouth Bollinger Band. That means volatility is extremely high in the direction of the move. So you simply just don't fade that. And the volatility range, as I stated yesterday, for the weekly time frame is all the way up here into this high, unless we get here and we see some sort of a Bollinger expansion on the weekly time frame. This is where the volatility range is through here. This low volatility range, this high volatility range right there. And that's based on compression from the Bollinger. I'm saying the word compression from the Bollinger Band. So the Bollinger Band is compressing price at this high right here. So you would expect sideways price action unless some extra adrenaline comes in and forces Bitcoin through there, and then we have a weekly expansion, and you're like, oh crap, RSI is at 100 on 5 different time frames, and we're not pulling back. Well, that's what happens when you get a Bollinger expansion. When you get a Bollinger expansion, that tends to happen. And like I said, when your RSIs are that high, it is not a short. I can tell you off the rip. I'm the indicator queen. I can tell you right away. Your setups fail if you try to short a high RSI. Your setups fail. I back tested it much, much, much. I even got an indicator. I created a whole indicator around it. Not this one right here. It's a whole nother indicator that I created. Um, and it fails if you're trying to short. Like you might get a little pullback, but price action goes back up. It's too much. It's too much. So anyway, yeah. You have to look for momentum to fade. You can't just be like, oh, we at a 90 95 on the 4 hour time frame. I'm gonna take a short. Momentum ain't faded on the 4 hours. So what are you shorting? Strength? That's crazy. Anyway, yeah. So some local resistance right here at the pivot low. Um, yeah, you can say volume, not say volume. It doesn't matter because volume is basically surrounded by where you get your swing points at, right? So that's what volume is. That's why it shows up right here because it's a swing point. That's why it showed up right here because it's a swing point. That's why it shows up in other places because it's a swing point. So volume tends to show up at volume swing points. Okay. But having a visual, additional visual is very helpful for a lot of people, including myself. Just having that extra little visual right there is okay. So if we get past here, then do expect for price action to take out this high potentially right here. Take this high out. Now, if it takes it out with a closure, which we won't know until the week closes, if it takes it out with a closure, then we will have changed market structure. Somewhat, because we still have to come back down and put in a higher low and go. But it will be a change of character for sure. All right, so that's here on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin. We just tapped in over here on the daily time frame for Bitcoin, where I talked about this 786 and this all-time high anchored VWAP right here. As we straight up blasted through the other VWAP that was through here. We're also slightly above the 400 EMA. I don't know if you guys are, if you use 400, I use 400. I use 200 and 400 EMAs. They work together. I don't ever use one of them in conjunction by themselves. I use it together as a pocket. So we're the 400 EMA is sitting slightly right in here. I'm going to hide this VWAP right here for a sec and turn this on right here. So you can see where the 400 EMA is coming in right there. So price action has rolled back below that 400 EMA right there. That's why I use them in conjunction. I don't ever just use this one right here by itself. They're always a pocket for me. 2 and 4, always a pocket for me. Because price action, if it doesn't respect the 2, especially with Bitcoin, it's going to come to the 4. 4. 4. 4. That's why I always use them together. You can go back anywhere and you'll see 4, 2. They're gonna work together. So I never, 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 never just use one by itself. 4. Always gonna do 2 and 4 together. All right. So we at that 400 right now. If I had any takeaways at the current moment, I mean, eventually price is gonna pull back. That's a given. Eventually, it's going to pull back because it's going to do a mean reversion. Price is always going to revert back to its mean, um, and and then from there, it just depends on what it does. If it reverts back to its mean and it respects the mean, then okay, you got a chance to get in if you're not already in. I just, I would be very careful with choosing where I take my entries at on anything, whether it's a long or a short at this point. Just be very careful with where you're choosing to do that at. But yeah, 2 and 4. You really want to see the reason why I would say it's going to come back right now is because the lower time ribbons have to cross above those larger ribbons. We're not at that point. Like we're seeing this huge pump. And so those lower ribbons may not do that until price pulls back to do a mean reversion and then bounces again. And then those lower ones move up with it, crossing above your higher ones. As long as your lower ones are not crossing above your higher ones, that's just confirmation that price is going to come back to your mean. It's going to come back to the mean and you want to make sure that it holds your mean reversion, and then those ribbons need to come up and pass with it. Just like right here, those ribbons didn't pass with it. They didn't. You came into it. This is a little bit of a cleaner rejection right here. How about this one over here? I maybe a little cleaner rejection as well, but you see how your lower ribbons didn't pass through. They have to pass through with price action. Over here, this is a good example. You see how your lower ones start to pass through the bigger ones, the larger ones. You have to see that, because otherwise you're not all the way there yet. You're just not all the way there yet. They're gonna have to pass through. So even when price action comes down and taps into it, if they're not passing through those lower ones, then you're gonna bounce. Just like on the opposite direction, you're gonna drop, because they have to it has to be in a chronological order, numerical order. It has to be in a numerical order, and it's not. It's not. So just look at it that way. And again, it's the bottom end. Who cares? Stop caring. Stop making that your battle for missing out on opportunities. It's the top end. Who cares? Don't make it your battle and miss out on your opportunity. Just when it looks like it's a good time to take a short, take a short. When it looks like it's a good time to take a long, take the freaking long. Who cares if the bottom is in or not? Where you hear people like, we're gonna drop, we're gonna go to $50,000. The bottom isn't in. This is a trap. This is a trap. They said the same thing in 2022. And we ran up to $126,000. Who cares? Are you missing your opportunity because you're concerned about being a bottom catcher or a top catcher? Are you missing your opportunity because of that? Don't do that. Please, 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 please. And don't follow anybody that's doing that. Please don't. So this disbelief, don't make that your battle. Let's just see what we can do. I'm gonna take a look at the USDT chart, because we were watching USDT tether, looking for that breakdown of our trend line. I just kind of moved away from it over time. But nothing changed over there. That was the entry yesterday off of the 1 year VWAP right here. It was a very, very small entry that we were looking to get in on the long for Bitcoin. I say we, even though I didn't take it, but that was the long entry that we were looking at, knowing that price was not going to pull back that far, because you had your mean right here. You can already see price has not been falling below the mean. It's holding around the mean. Let's just put it like that. It's holding between these three right here. My most important ones is these three: that orange, that green, and that red. It's holding there. And if you look at your Bollinger Band, you're trading in between the trap, which is standard deviation 1 and 2. You're trading in between that. You don't fade that. You need to at least see a move back down, and possibly is visible on a much lower time frame, which is probably something I'm going to have to start doing. Is just looking at the really much lower time frames. But we're not doing that right now. This bird is flying like there's no injuries. These wings are beautiful. These bird these bird wings are beautiful. Like that flap. That's a beautiful flap. Or they refer to it as alligator mouth. I like to call it a wing, because that's what it looks like. It looks like a bird wing. Like it's the most beautiful thing ever. But anyway, we'll see about this trend line right here. Kind of like yesterday, when I had the trend line in here yesterday. I think we had it. It was pulled off of the low right here through here, and it lined up with our VWAP, the yearly VWAP right there. And we're well above that yearly VWAP right now, which is cool. But we'll see. We'll see how we behave right here in this section. That was it's a big rejection right there. It definitely was not an outside bar. I can't call it an engulfing, because it did get a wick off of that bottom right there, but it's a pretty decent rejection there for Bitcoin. Yeah. I mean it looks nice. It looks nice right now. We're just gonna play what the market is showing in front of us. Oh, that Bollinger's band. See that? Still turn to the downside. Like this is just, you just don't fade that. That ain't what you do. You don't fade this, that volatility. I mean, all the way open. It's not to be faded. You're not going to get a V-shaped recovery. Volatility is still expanding in the direction of the trend right now, which is up. Big compression. We're looking for the breakout. It happens. Yes, you're going to see these crazy numbers because of this. That's all you need to know. And you don't fade it until it fades. Big breakout right there from the Bollinger breakout. For an hour. It would have ran through here for that breakout. All right, volatility still rising. No breakdown. It's up here. It's up here. Not coming back to here. Not even a little bit coming back to here. MACD still flying in the air like a plane. Nothing's close to zero. Just still flying straight up in the air. What is there to fade? 1 hour. Nothing. Getting a little choppy through here. So yeah, all of this overlap right here, the swings and all that stuff. You're getting close. You're getting close to seeing a better pullback for a better entry. If it's going to continue up. Maybe the next time it comes down and it comes back up, it only goes back to the golden pocket 786 from the local high. And then it starts to roll back down. But we got to get there first. Right now, like nothing. Honestly, it would be another bounce. I kid you not. It would just be another bounce. I'm gonna look for a break and then look for a break and then see what happens. You can see how it's gonna put in bullish divergence. So it's gonna chop around. So you're not going to get a V shape. That confirms to you right there. You're not going to get a V shape recovery. So you're not going to miss it. So you don't have to worry about trying to catch the top. You're not going to miss it. It's going to drop below here, put in bull div. It's going to push back up, maybe not even take out the high, but that's what's going to happen anytime you got to read like that and you see it walking the line. That's what's going to happen. Okay. So nothing to fade. Nothing to fade. Uh-oh, put that right there. Nothing to fade. Let me just change that. And then over here, yeah, that was the little sale that we got yesterday was that right there. And then we got that VWAP. It's like, it's not going to do too much. It's not going to do too much. I wouldn't count on what we usually do. The 382, 50% retracement. It's not working. 236, 382 is what you should be using right now. Pullbacks are very, very, very shallow. The euphoria is crazy. People are FOMOing in. And so they're willing to pay premium prices to get in. So they're paying between a 236 and a 382 right now. That's it. That is it. That's all they're doing. That's all. That's as much of the pullback that's happening. A little slight right here. Let me change this. I want alarms to start going off. I tried cleaning up alarms and stuff. There we go. So it's probably going to make some noise here in a second. And then we'll see what happens in here. Again, maybe it only does the 76, 673. Maybe it only does that. That's the mean reversion. But on the 2-8, that'll be back here into this trend line right here on this As we see, the delta is crossing below the zero line right now. It's only going to be a temporary pullback. MACD is way too high. It's like 840 whatever there, well above the zero line, which means it's just going to be corrective. Okay, that's all it means when you see that. It's going to be corrective, and the delta is showing you I'm about to correct. About to correct. Maybe there, maybe back here to this trend line for a long entry, and just treat it like a scalp until it's not. Okay. Um, let's take a look at this USDT dominance here, because we were following USDT dominance, knowing that we were looking for a breakdown, right? We know that we were looking for a breakdown. All right. So we were watching for a long time, for months. And this is months of us on this USDT dominance chart. We knew that price action was in ascending broadening formation, which is a bearish formation. But once it got to here, once it made that rejection, it started putting in a bullish pattern in between it, in between here. Now, this line right here was initially on here like this. And we started to do this. So there was a possibility that we could see a breakout. This was um the first break that we got down below it, and then price started to turn back up, and it looked like it was going to not manage to be successful in getting back inside of the lower trend line, but it did. And so hence this played out, this descending wedge, whatever you want to call it, that ended up playing out and pushing price up. So then it was time to look for it to break down again. I only moved it because it's new information now, right? So it's new information. You can leave it like that and look for the breakdown right there, but it's new information, so we move it to account for the new information. And the new information, you can see how this time when it broke down, it just straight up ran over it, which is what you expect to see from it. I would still pull my measure move from here because this is the last touch at the top, and then down to the low to measure it out. I think that we were following along with what we thought the breakdown could be. Let me see if this is, yeah. So initially we were looking at it right through here when we got that first break. It did not work for us, right? So moving on past that, I can take this over here now because it still measures, and I'll double check to be sure. So that shows it coming all the way down in here somewhere. I will check on the weekly time frame and we will see. And I just want to double check and make sure that that was the measure that I did before. And it is the measure I did before. The only difference right now is that I moved this trend line right here, which is okay. But that was the measure that I did before right there. So you can see that. All right. Just wanted to be sure on that. So even if it goes down below it, who cares? Right now, we can also identify that USDT dominance is at some sort of potential local support, as Bitcoin is at some potential local resistance right now. So right through here, we've seen price action be supported before between the prior highs over here and the prior lows right here. I just have my zones turned off. I turn my zones on. So we can come in a little bit more in my opinion. I haven't addressed any changes to here. We didn't tap it the last time. So I didn't account for this new information right here in regards to my zone. And I'm not going to change that. I'm just going to assume that if it takes out this low, then this right here is going to be the area for it right here to see some sort of potential bounce to take place on USDT dominance. Everything else, like they all worked out beautifully. I'm just going to leave it as it is and look for that. And that is somewhere between 685, I just say 686 and 649 for USDT dominance here. Now I'm gonna show you something that's very interesting on the weekly time frame because we covered this weekly time frame with USDT dominance as well. So here on the weekly time frame, we were comparing this here to this here, right? And we were saying that over here, when the bear market started or ended for Bitcoin, there was this bearish divergence on USDT dominance, price failed to take out the high, I put the little laughing face over here, and we was like, yeah, we starting to look exactly like we did over here. We talked about the fact that that last move had dropped into the 382 50% retracement, and then when it pushed up, it got the bear div, and it didn't take out that high. So then we came over here to challenge the model against the 2022 bull run. We had got that drop into the 382 50% retracement as we did over here. We started out with a lower high, with the bear div, because we didn't have this wick above here yet. So we were seeing the bearish divergence just like over here. I had the laughing emoji up here, and I said, hopefully I don't have to change this to a crying emoji because we're getting above it. Well, we did end up getting above it, but that rejection tells me that's it. The potential for the 5 wave move that I was looking at over here, because after you tap into the 382, if you start closing above here, maybe that was already it, kind of truncated, right? So I don't have to worry about this now. This is not the same anymore. It's not the same anymore. But I don't know where that noise is coming from. Okay. Um, but you can see the similarity here and here to where the bull market started at in 2022. That's beautiful. Just the only difference again, and I was a little nervous. The only difference again is this time it did close above this high, but now that we've gotten this pullback here, following behind that, I don't have to worry about it because it invalidates any idea of what I was looking at before. I wanted to make sure I covered that with you before I delete this, because this was going to be our extension. If for some reason that we continue up past our little emoji face right there, that was going to be our extension. I don't need that now because it's not the same. And this was just, measuring out showing you how to validate the wave count or whatever. So get rid of that. We can get rid of that, and then this is all we got left now. In fact, I get to change my emoji face back to laughing. So that's what I'm about to do. It's going to go back to the laughing face. Yay. Perfect. Perfect. So we'll see. We shall see. But don't they look alike? Now let's check our RSI, because the other thing we were talking about was our break on our RSI, right? Which it, of course, the thing is deleted now. Why? Because reset on my computer. Um that was a break we had to wait on right there to ensure our momentum shift. Uh-oh, I had to fix that. Forgive me. A, A, A. Talk about excited, babe. Look. This was the break we had to wait on over here to say, I'm done. I'm done. Bam. Breakdown. And you see how it came back and it back tested right there? Oh, baby, we was waiting on this breakdown. We was waiting on this breakdown on USDT dominance, waiting on it because we had the bear div. And guess what? Bitcoin on a weekly time frame put in bullish divergence twice. USDT dominance put in bearish divergence on this pump one time. Once. The same way it only put it in one time over here. One time. And then that was it. You got the breakdown right here. I'm not trying to call anything, so don't worry about me. I'm not trying to call anything. I'm just identifying. They twinning. They twinning. They twins. Am I lying or am I not lying? Tell me you don't see everything I see. The breakdown is the same. It's the exact same. Tell me you don't see exactly what I see. Tell me you don't. Tell me you don't. Whether it's the bottom or not, who gives a crap? But that's how it ended in 2022. And this is the simplest thing for me to do as opposed to go over the Bitcoin chart right now. This is the simplest thing for me to do right now is look at USDT dominance. Because when it's not in Bitcoin, it's in Tether or it's in some other asset class. So that's where we at. That's where we at. That's where we at. So I mean, but like I said, eventually Bitcoin is going to pull back. You're going to be looking for a higher low, and then you're going to look for a continuation to the upside if that is the case. If that is the case for Bitcoin. So right now, it's freaking beautiful. Beautiful. That was the call right here. That was the call right there. That was the call right here. That's the call. That's exactly how it ended. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's take a look at some other things that have been pumping like crazy. Now, I feel the same way a lot of other people feel. Okay, if you were, I was not ever overly bearish or overly bullish. So let me just say that I was looking for my opportunities where they showed up at. Okay, but I have missed out on a lot of this money too. I have. I was in my Bitcoin long position. Yeah, I was in from 50,000 something. And I hit my TP right as the market just went crazy. Like I was just trying to get to 65.8, 65.817, I believe it was. And it hit my take profit. I let it go and it just kept pushing. And I knew that was going to happen because I talked about it on stream. I said I might get greedy, but I didn't. And so I'm having to jump back into certain things. Like I had a long open on Bitcoin at the time. I had the long open on Binance, BNB coin. I had the long open on Hyperliquid, close it out. I had the long open on Chainlink, close it out. I had them open and I closed them out. I took profit. And I just re-entered into BNB yesterday, right here on this little pullback right here. But on BNB, the initial entry was right here because I looked at the weekly time frame and said it looked good. But I got stopped out here. Otherwise, I probably still would be in BNB because this was the first higher low that BNB had put in. And that's why I took the entry on BNB. And that's why I've talked about BNB a lot here too, is because I could see what the weekly time frame was showing me in terms of the potential for BNB. This was the first higher low that it put in. And you come over here to the weekly time frame right here, and you find that entry, you see that badass entry right there? And I mean bad in a good way. That's a fire entry. And I ain't even getting it. I'm not even making all of that. So yeah, I feel some kind of way. I sure do. I feel some kind of way. And I saw that was about to happen right there. It's like, yeah, on this pullback, I'm getting in here. And it was just a golden pocket 786 retracement. I got back in one other time right here. I got back in right here as well, and then I took profit again, and I got back in yesterday, and I'm still holding that one. So that might be the one that roll against me. That might be the one that roll against me. But this before this breakout right here happened, I was like, hey, I will long it. I told you that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day it was. I said I would long it. It looks good. Solana looks good. Like there were some certain ones that were just looking juicy as heck that you just wanted to be in. But that's where I'm at right now. I'm scrapping right now. I'm scrapping. I'm FOMOing too. But it gotta be a it gotta look decent. It has to look decent. Otherwise, I'm not gonna take it. And so I'm missing out on a lot of stuff. I'm just not gonna take it. Period. Point blank. BNB looking pretty good there. But you can see that was a nasty correction right there. Nasty bump on the head right there for this consolidation, which is probably a golden pocket 786 retracement right there. Um, sure enough. So we'll see what happens right through here. As we know, we're at resistance point. We'll see what happens. It's going to take some time. So at some point, I will make a decision on taking a short. It's just not there. It's not there yet for me. And we kept banging our head right here. I thought about it, but we got through it. Um, Solana, same situation. At least this candle right here had dropped all the way down to like the pettiest freaking uh, grave doji. But it's starting to recover a little bit right here for Solana. I mean, shoot, I got scared of Solana. When Solana was dropping pretty bad, I knew where I didn't want to be in it anymore. Or at least I wanted to de-risk, and I did. Like when it got through here, I was like, shoot, this thing keeps doing what it's doing. It's gonna end up at 40 something dollars, 40 something to 30 something dollars. Okay. If it keeps doing what it's doing, that's where it could be headed to. Got value area high here. Also, this is a fit retracement level right here for us. So let me see what that is. Because we got through the other one. Yeah, we got through the other one right here. So we're kind of trying to roll back below this 786, but we were here. We got through the gold. We ended up getting through this golden pocket. We were trapped at this golden pocket here for a second. Let me put us on. I want to put us on the 15 minutes, 1 hour. We'll just stick with the higher time frame. Stick with the higher time frame here. So we're seeing a little bit of struggle. Actually, I'm sorry. This is not the one that I was using. I was using. I think I was using this one. I was using this one. I was using another one, and I realized that I needed to delete that one. That's what it was. I was using another one, and it was showing that we were trapped directly underneath the golden pocket. I realized that I needed to delete that one. When I was on stream yesterday, I was using it, and it looked right, but it was so wrong. And I apologize for that. It looked right, but it was so wrong. But I ain't told nobody to short nothing. And just get that straight, because it's not showing that momentum is weak in any regards. And you want to see weakness in the momentum. You don't want to focus on the RSI, how high the RSI is. You want to focus on where the weakness comes in at. Not how high the number is. Where does it turn weak? Forget that. Do not. Do not put your focus on RSI at 90, RSI at 81, RSI at 100. Do not put your focus on that. Put your focus on where the weakness comes in. Because you will be chasing something that's not going to work in your favor. Find the weakness. If you at least take your trade based on the weakness, maybe it'll mess you up one time. It's not going to keep messing you up. There is no weakness. I'm not sure where this line comes from. I'm going to remove it, and then I put it back because it's traveling from another time frame. There is no weakness. Momentum is not coming back to this trend line right now. It's not. It's not. It's up, 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 and away. That's why when we were here, I said I wouldn't short it. We were at resistance right here where it saw multiple rejections from, but I said I wouldn't short it. Why? Because momentum is still rising. Now, if momentum breaks down, then I would short it, but I'm not going to fade it as long as it's moving higher. As long as momentum continues to rise, you got nothing to fade. You don't fade strength. Again, you don't fade strength. There's nothing to fade. Leave it alone. MACD still straight up in the air. Delta every now and then shows you a little bit of weakness, but momentum is still is strong, man. Forget about the little wicks at the top. Forget about the RSI read being as high as it is. Forget about it. It's telling you that I'm strong. It's a relative strength indicator. RSI, relative strength indicator, is telling you that I am relatively strong right now. This ain't what you want. FAFO, man. So, um, looking decent through here. It's in terms of the macro uh, fib level, you have the 382 here, 50% retracement right here, golden pocket, all that good stuff up there. But it's nice to see Solana, kind of come back, and that's for anybody who's been buying it on the lows. Um, that's I'm happy for anybody who's been buying it on the dip. And the place to buy it, even in fear, would have been at the bear market lows. So if you were buying it there, then good for you. I didn't buy anymore. I actually took, like I said, I closed out some of my Solana. I de-risked on some of my Solana for fear that Solana could potentially go into that 40 something dollar region. And my buy, I bought it at 20 something dollars, and it was like it's just too much of a round trip. And I felt like trash because I never took the profit from the highs. And then here I was taking some profit out of it when it's already pulled back, uh, about 70%. Like it happens to the best of us. So ain't no shame in it. It is what it is. I gotta make better choices sometimes. And that's what happened for me. So yeah, coming up towards this 382, I didn't really see a whole lot of things in here for so I'm gonna assume that maybe it comes into this next block right here. If Bitcoin continues to push. Otherwise, it's gonna. Otherwise, we'll see it struggle to get above here, and that's what we want to see. If it starts to consolidate and struggle to get above here, we can look for that weakness to come in and for that rejection. But I'm not gonna try to guess where that happens at right now. I'm just gonna look for the weakness in the momentum, and I'm gonna take it from there. Um, and again, this of course, if you want to take shorts, you're going to be at more risk of being wrong than you are if it pulls back and you take the long, because that'll be the first thing you get. It's going to be another push to the upside because of the aggressiveness to the upside. The first drop, you're going to get more upside. Okay. So long is what I'll be looking for, as opposed to if when I do take the short, it won't be as much capital. I'm not looking to hit a home run on it. I'm just going to treat it like a scalp or a intraday trade and let it, see what I get from it. Um, so that's still looking pretty good. Chainlink just hit a major pivot right here. If it starts to struggle underneath it, then I would expect to get the pullback on it. But it has managed to get through quite a few. This was the last time it actually struggled at a major pivot, was right through here. Every other pivot it has pushed through and hasn't shown any reaction. So what I want to see is it chop and find the one that it respects. If it comes here and it starts to hold here, then okay, I'm gonna be looking for it to push back up. But if it in between here, I just got to see what it does. It's gonna find the one that it respects. You know, it's like finding your wife, and that's gonna be the one that holds it down. But that's chain link right now. I think it's pretty much around where I was looking at potentially where chain link could come back into. I'm gonna put us on a weekly time frame right here, so we can kind of see. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this was about it right here for chain link. Let me just check. Let me check for these right here. Yeah, yeah. I honestly wasn't looking for too much more through here. Like I'm really surprised that we're even pushing through here. Maybe I'll give it up to about 13, 12. Um, it just doesn't to me. Like you can see how it came to an end once these ribbons started to cross through it because they were lagging. They were lagging behind the higher time frame ones. So it was an ending indication there. It could end up being that over here. So right now I'm just really more focused on the major pivots and where it reacts that it fails to be able to get through. That's how I'm having to do it. So, um, and just look for it to chop if it has weakness, and just look for it to chop. In terms of the Bollinger here, it is expanding um, a bit right here. It's expanding a little bit right here, but this can fade on a weekly close. It really can. I wasn't, I'm not enthusiastic about that part, but I mean, Chainlink, anytime it ever did get a squeeze, it did manage to go a lot higher. Um, and let me see if we had it down below. I don't know why this stuff keeps getting off track. I must have changed the setting or something. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that setting is off. There, let me fix that. Okay, there we go. There we go. Um, So anytime it did, and there were occasions where we had like we've done this and we've seen some opportunities based on the squeeze, and then we've seen some opportunities where um it ended up failing. The last one we were looking at was like AVAX. I got into AVAX long. It started out really good, and AVAX fell over, and I lost what I was willing to risk on the AVAX position. Went from being in profit to being out of money, and that was fine. It was, just you take the chance. It wasn't a lot of money, so I wasn't too worried about it. Excuse me. But we've seen where, yeah. So AVAX did one of these right here where it had the squeeze, and then it pushed up, and then it dropped back down below it. Which sometimes that will happen. Sometimes you'll see the squeeze, and it'll tell you, okay, I'm getting ready to pump to the upside, and it'll just go. You won't have any problems. But in this case, it did that. I think and the first thing I would have looked at would have been if I was already looking at chain link, but I was buying chain link spot, so this didn't matter to me. I would have looked at the mean reversion, and that's probably what it did was the mean reversion and rejecting, because that's what we saw on AVAX as well when it had the squeeze and it got the initial push up, that it did the mean reversion rejection, and then it fell down and put in another low, and so that's what happened there. But over here, you can see where it got the squeeze and it got the nice push up. We had the slight right there and we got the push up. We had it over here. We went sideways for a minute and then we got the push up, and that's looking for it to go down. Like sometimes nothing ever is ever going to work 100% perfectly, but that ended up being the case for for chain link in the past. Like it usually sees a pretty nice move from that. I'm gonna leave this on a for, oh, leave this on a 4 hour. Usually I'll trail with like a VWAP. You can just use your ribbons, but usually I'll trail with a VWAP. So wherever that momentum is on the wherever my touch point is where I usually land. I haven't drawn a new. I would have to be on like a different time frame for this. Hold on, let me make sure that that's my. No, my tap is right there. So usually I just follow with that to see where my support is going to be at. Wherever I'm touching that on my trend line, I drop my anchor VWAP there, and that shows me where I don't want price action to go below or where I can expect for it to hold that. Same, where I can expect for it to hold that. So if I was drawing out why does it keep locking? Am I locking it or it's just locking automatically? I've noticed that I have to keep doing that. I did not lock it. But every time I drop one, it locks. I have to be on a lower time frame to kind of see like where we rise in that, which is probably going to be through here, and then I get another one right through here. Um, Sorry if I bore you. Hold on, I think it would have been. Uh, Come here, you would have been there, and then from there I would have had to, because I wouldn't have been able to do this one because I would cut through price action. So I would have had to do this because you never cut. You make sure you're not cutting price action through candles. You want your bottom to be your bottom. I can tell you exactly. Hold on, let me see if I needed to move that. Nope, that's good. I just wanted to be sure on that. So my anchor would be this one right here. And so it should show it respecting that low. If not, then we got a problem. Okay, so we might have a problem because usually you want to, when you do that, it should like fall underneath price action and not be like that. So a little bit of a problem right there for chain link. We'll see if it actually forces it down then. And let me just double check right here so you can see how it respects it. So it just shows you where it's locking automatically. It just shows you where your volume is in relationship to your trend line, whatever. Um, so I'll let that stay like that on this 15-minute time frame. See how much of a pullback we get. Maybe it's something back into here. It could be that it comes all the way back down into here. I'm just going to drop this one in here for future reference. Not that I think that it's going to do that one. But for future reference, hold on. Let me just check one. Let me check how this one did when this happened. I just wanted to see. So it did do a little bit of over with that wick, a little bit down, but then it reclaimed back above it. It puts it back to right here. If that's gonna work, yeah. I don't know. Um, all I can say right now is that what it implies, and what it implies is, yeah, that it will come back and it will hold this one. It has the potential of holding this trend line on a push down, but this one doesn't have the potential of holding. I mean, this doesn't have the potential of holding. It's like price action would break through this trend line right here, and I would probably have to look at VWAP as my bounce area because usually it'll come in somewhere with the trend line. If it's not doing that, then I forget about the trend line and I focus on the VWAP or whatever moving average. If you use those, it can do the same thing. I just like to do it like this instead. I'm starting to lose my voice this morning. Jeez. So I'm just gonna leave those three on there. I'm gonna keep it on the 15-minute time frame. Chain link. Let me move forward here. Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid slowed down a lot. And like I said, I don't feel bullish on hyperliquid at this point. I just don't. It can keep going? Probably it can. I just know hyperliquid has a lot of whales that like to sell when price action pumps on it. It's a lot of take profit on hyperliquid when it gets going. Like when it gets into them highs, those whales start taking their profit, and hyperliquid slowed down a great deal. This was after Trump spoke, and this is what we got after that. Like you've seen some other ones that God candles still going to the upside while hyperliquid is not. So I just feel some kind of way about it. We were um oh, this is just the high of the channel right here. I just dropped the trend line in there. Like if 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 it pushed back into the same place where it was yesterday, we were looking at the resistance level, and if it starts to respect it, like it can't, like the body start closing underneath it, like right now. Let me take this away. Right now is very much above it. Right now, but it was like having a little bit of a time right here. Um, so if it does find success to get above this region, I don't know if I'm going to focus on that next one. Is really close right here. It looks like it may have tapped into that. Um, it wouldn't have been my focus. Uh, or you can just make it into a zone, whatever. I just want to see the number right there. The channel here. Where's my channel at? Um, I'm probably moving right past it because I'm being a little blind. There it is, my macro channel right here. Uh, I can probably slide this over a little bit for today. Actually, I'm just gonna leave it where it is. So we're looking at it yesterday. I just wanted to take the channel off of the chart, but the macro channel right there. If it doesn't find resistance there, I will look for it to find it up here. And like I said, you can adjust the macro channel to take in the new information, which means adding, those wicks, covering those wicks with the trend line. If you don't know where it comes from, I just put you here on the weekly time frame so you can see. This has been the blockade. This has been the blockade right here for hyperliquid. You turn off this mid range. But that has been the blockade. So I would expect for it to come up here and possibly look for another rejection right here. Possibly. Possibly. Okay. Right now, the way I have it drawn out, that's say 80,000. I'm sorry, 80,000. $80.25. Yeah, something like that. Okay. On hype right here. Like I said, you can take into account because this is the direct touch point here, here, and here. Made it reject there, made it reject and do that. So coming up, you'd be looking for another rejection on that. Okay. Unless it breaks out. I know at one point I was telling you guys that I thought that that this was a leading diagonal because you can count 5 waves right here. That this was a leading diagonal, and the breakup and the pullback, and that hyperliquid was still very bullish. But now we're just feeling some kind of way. Ever since we got this pullback, I don't know. I just feel some kind of way right now. But that's what I thought initially, that this was a leading diagonal. Um, and then we got the breakup from the leading, and now we're getting the pullback for whatever wave. But it's like, One, two. It's hard to say two because it. What are we looking at? I may have already deleted all of that because I stopped trusting the analysis. So I think I did delete it all. Yeah, I deleted all of that. I stopped trusting the analysis on it, but I know what I initially felt like. It was like catch that pullback and ride it up, and did catch the pullback. We did. We caught this pullback. Um, Took this maybe 3 times or something like that. Like we caught it a couple of times. We only needed to catch it one time, right? But we caught it a couple of times. It just got scared, to be honest with you, and could have just held that. But I don't really trust it at this moment. So we'll see. But I would be looking for a rejection right in here, if anything. So sometimes, sometimes you just feel like that. I don't know. Um, who else is there? Oh, you know what? I haven't looked at Ethereum. I don't know why. I've been skipping over ETH. I don't think I looked at it yesterday, or did I? Or maybe I did. Yeah, I did. I think I did look at it. Oh, man, that makes that look so petty, right? Jeez, 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 jeez. All right, so we had this little wedging situation happening here on Ethereum, but we straight up blasted through this order block. Bam, get out of here. And we held this one like a G. Mm. So that just didn't finish playing out. Golden Pocket 786. I'm gonna put this on the daily so I can see exactly where this little rejection. Oof. Ethereum. Ethereum. Look at you, mama. Look, ma. No hands. Look, ma. No hands. Ethereum. Okay, 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 okay. All right. I mean that man. I ain't gonna lie. That is a work of art. I was saying that I felt like Solana was outperforming Ethereum on the last stream, but that is a work of art structurally. And we had already talked about the fact that Ethereum low. First of all, I'm gonna clap for myself again because I straight up gave that entry like a boss. If you bought that bottom, I gave it way in advance. Way, and then what they always say, way in advance. I gave that bottom way in advance, but too bad I was already owning Ethereum, so I didn't take no leverage position off of it. I just got it over on, on my spot portfolio. But that bottom, I'm a boss with it, baby. I'm a boss with it. I'm a boss with it. That bottom was, hold on, not that. Get out of here. Get out of here. Is it on this chart? I did the same thing yesterday. I was like, where's my stuff at? Where's my stuff at? The thing I had to say about Ethereum is that, and I said this, I said Ethereum has never, ever, ever, ever went below that low. Ever, ever, ever. It has never, ever gone below its prior low. Ever. I hope that's still true. Right now, it has held up. But again, it has never, ever, ever, ever gone below its prior low. So I tell you what I can do because I ain't got time to go back and find it. Let's just do it like this. Actually, let me do this, and then I can drop this baby. Drop it. Drop it like it's hot. I'm feeling good this morning. The last several bounces came from this VWAP. This one. I gave this TA a long time ago. Ethereum was, I don't know where it was, but I gave that TA a long time ago. And I said, that's it right there. And we had our trend line going through here as well. So we paired that with our VWAP, and baby, look at that demigod entry. That demigod entry for Ethereum. Um, right here. And I was like, it's never gone below a prior low, like ever, ever. Like if that was the low, it never went below it. And it came real close, but it's like I've just never seen it. I've never seen it do it. And I've ran through this Ethereum chart. I've never seen it do it. And I knew the day that I dropped that anchored VWAP on it, and I didn't take into account the old information. It was all about everything that was happening through here. Like the past several times that Ethereum saw a bounce, I saw it take place off of this one right here, the all time, the all of all, the all of all VWAP for Ethereum is this one. And it has held its ground since that. So stellar entry for, let me see what Bitcoin trying to do right now. It hasn't reached one of our targets. It is still just at that 7 um fast 50 on the RSI mean reversion. If your look back period is a 7, it's at that one right now. 14 standard 76 860. It's gonna fluctuate, okay, guys. So 76 860 is what I'm just gonna say on it. We're not there yet anyway. We're not at a mean reversion just yet. I'd at least like to see mean reversion before considering the entry or that trend line as I stated about Bitcoin. But yeah, like Ethereum has held this down. So I implore you, drop it. Drop it on your chart. Just drop it on there. It has worked. It has held its ground, and it's to a point where it could be looking to change market structure here on this weekly time frame. And of course, we really want to see it put in that higher low here on the weekly time frame. But that's man, that's some G work right there. That's some G work right there. I'm gonna get rid of this now. I got my analysis and everything somewhere, and I just don't know where all of my stuff went to. I don't know. I keep going through here trying to find um I keep trying to find my analysis. I struggled with Solana yesterday too. Um I can't find my analysis. It's all on X though. It is all on X. It is all on X. Uh, with every note I could possibly give you to look out for. It might be on a monthly time frame or something like that. I think that this is a. Oh, hold on. 15. 1, 4. Yeah, it's on the next one. What am I thinking? Yeah, this is a daily. This would have been my daily frame right here. I'll put this on a daily. Let's kind of see right here. This would have been my daily frame. So it would have been on my weekly frame, which would have been this right here, my weekly frame. Um, just like I had it for Solana. Oh, Solana's at the VWAP. Oh, how about that? Solana's back testing its all time. All time. All time means it goes to the very first candle you ever see dropped on the chart. That's what an all time is. Okay. It's at the all time VWAP. So you see that? So that's the very first candle. I always look at that when I go on a chart, especially when they have like deep corrections. I always plot that one on there. Um, So that's what we hitting right now. Interesting. Interesting. What's interesting? It's just interesting. It's just interesting. So that's where we at. Back testing that all time. That all of all. That olive oil, olive oil. Yeah, that all time. That was so lame. There we go. There's my analysis. I broke it all down for you. I broke it all down for you. I will work for you. Let me just say that to you. So if you hear, please hit the like button. You don't know like what it means to feel some sort of appreciation when you get into these charts. I do it because I love it, number one, but I will really work for you if I can just feel appreciated. So if you hit that like button, and I'm emotional just saying it, you just hit that like button, I'd appreciate it. I love to see people win, honey. I love to see it. So this was all the notes and everything that I gave when I did the analysis on Ethereum, just walking you through everything you need to look for as this move came down, an entire map of you get to here, you probably got a chance. You get to here, you probably got a chance. You get to here. Like these are places where you can, you know, F with it the long way. If it gets to these levels right here. And so just beautiful. Just absolutely freaking beautiful. Beautiful. All right, that's that. Let me get out of here off of that. Come on, push me back. Let me put Ethereum on a 4 hour something else. Something else. See that little candle wick rejection right there. Oh, let's just add our all-time high. Um VWAP in here as well. I just want to see where that's at. It's probably far off for Ethereum. Probably pretty far off. Um, I would have to do a walk down on E to sort of figure out like, oh, let me just lock that. We ain't got to worry about it moving. Yeah, let me lock that. I would have to do a walk down. I don't think I have like, I don't think I put in trends to the downside for it as I explain how I do things. I can see that this would have been a touch point for me. Um, yeah, I can see that that would have been a touch point. But let's see how it would have done with it. Yeah, it's clean through that, so that would have been a touch point. I doubt I would have used that. I would have went straight into that. So the only other one I would have used would have been this one up here. I don't know why it keeps locking automatically, but okay, that's what it wants to do. It would have been this one. Okay, so it's nice to know yourself, right? It's nice to know yourself and know what you would have did. Yeah, and so that one held it down there, and so we're sniffing around it right now. Okay, and again, the reason I know I would have did that one is because I'm pivot to pivot, and I don't cut. So this one, I would have been done with that, and the next one would have been this one right here because I would have looked at this and realized I was leaving information like it has to be clean, clean. Oh, I would have did that one. My bad. So it wouldn't have been this one. So I did get that part wrong. Let me just see what this right here was going to be looking. Hold on, unlock what this one would have been looking like right here. Let's see how different it would have been. Yeah, I would have been looking for that to hold and bounce. It didn't work. So yeah, I would have did that. And after that, I would have had to make some changes. And so it would have been this right here, but it wouldn't have been from this high. I know that. It would have been from this right here. I would have did that. Then I would have tapped one on that, which probably rolled underneath. Yeah. blase, blase, blase. Anyway, I don't need any of that anymore. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. I'm gonna hang on to this right here just in case price comes down. This could be an area. If we were to see a bigger pullback here, a bigger pullback, then I would be looking for a back test here on this breakout right here. To this channel. So I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna leave this here. This low one. Yeah, that was just me trying to create a channel. So actually, I'm just gonna make it into a channel instead of doing it like I did it. I'm just gonna turn it into a channel. Um, but this could be a back test. It could be a back test region. So I'm just gonna leave it like that and put it on lock. Me. I just want to take some of that brightness out of it. So that's that. Okay, that's pretty decent. And then the one here at the golden pocket. All right. I think Solana had already pushed through the one that we were looking at here on Solana. Because I looked at, I'm not sure which anchored VWAP it was that I looked at on Solana. I don't need that one. Hold on. So let me see. Am I got anchor VWAPs everywhere. I can delete that one. You know what? Let me not make it difficult, right? Why make it difficult when you can make it easy? I want to be easy. I want it to be easy. It would have been anchor VWAP here. And then, of course, the anchor VWAP there. All right. And then where's my other touch? Probably. Because I know I was just looking at, I was looking at the 1 year VWAP. That's what I was looking at on Solana. Yesterday was the 1 year VWAP. Solana got so many trends through here. I'm not going to really bother too much with it. But let me just see like what changes I would have made, because I haven't really done any updated analysis, because what I did on the weekly time frame, when I did it, I thought that it was everything that was needed. So I didn't make any attempted changes. Let me move one more time. I wish you would just stay on your job, sir. Stay on your job, sir.
It's internet.
Is it really?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna fire you unless you get it together. No, I can't fire you. Sadly, it would be one comment underneath it. No, I'm just losing my voice. It would be one comment underneath it because the overhead ones is not gonna work. So it would be one comment underneath it. I think I already have. I don't have it over here on the weekly, on the daily time frame thing. Um, I don't have raise. Do I have raise? I have raise. I have them, but I need to update. I'm just gonna use this. Let's just use this. And adjust for new information. And it's really not a whole lot new that I can do off of this time frame. So 4 hour. Is there anything new? 4 hour would be through here on a 4 hour. Because from here it's just straight up in the air, right? And I can just use my ribbons, to be honest with you, because this anchor VWAP is probably going to be far off. Yeah, it's far off. It's far off. So let's see where the ribbons are at instead. I just want to see. Yeah, they're about the same. So yeah. Yeah, it's the first red candle right there. That makes sense on the pullback to come right in here. Makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna set this up. We got the zones right here, the daily zones, but um, make it into a demand. I don't. It's not. It's not really. It's really not that. But I'm gonna make it into that, and that lined up pretty good. This information is gonna change because it's a 4 hour time frame. So that midpoint that would change unless this just happens like rather quickly or something. Which I don't. I don't. I mean that would. Mm, that would be a nice pullback into that, right? Um, about 84, 85. Can't say we get it, but right now this is the information I'm gonna work with. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. It doesn't. But I do like the fact that it was the first red candle, so that is definitely an area of interest. With the of the center of that candle there, uh, and then if I pull the fib on it, I'm gonna pull it off of this because this is what I'm measuring off of right here. Um, it must be about a 50. Sure enough, it is. Yeah, I wouldn't look for too much more. So yeah, I'm gonna run tight with that. I'm gonna run with that. I'm gonna take this off my chart though. Uh, that's my signal. If that's my signal right here, I see Bitcoin, guys. If that's my signal, then that's what I would look for on Solana. All right. So you got around that region right there. I'm gonna pull back and snap over here on Bitcoin real quick. All right, so we got our mean reversion one right there. Let's see. Um, I really would like this right here a lot better. It ain't what I like, it's what it gives. So like we were saying, like it was about to show that breakdown right there. So yeah, I'm gonna push the boundaries. I want to push the boundaries. I want to see like what the depth of our pullback is gonna be. Um, from the rejection points that we know we have, which again is the pivot, the weekly prior low resistance. Uh, there's volume there, and it's there because you have that weekly prior low resistance. That's where the volume sits at. Um, the anchor VWAP, the 786 rejection, like those are all of our confluences right there. Those are all of our confluences there. That the 400 EMA, like enough said. Enough said. 400 EMA, the anchor VWAP from the all-time high, or the 400 EMA, whichever one you choose to go with. Like that, this is great resistance, great resistance. But again, I'm not looking to short it. I just let it chop, and then I'll do something about it. I'm not gonna take the risk. Just not. Let me turn these off. Even though this could be like a retracement point, a bounce or something like that, possible 74.956. I don't know if that lines up what I was looking at on the other time frame. 74.9, 74, no 74.9. Okay, it's pretty close. It's pretty close to this right here. I was just looking at. Yeah, it's pretty close on that. So yeah, let me see. It'll show up differently sometimes if you sync it because the time frame. I'm gonna sync it just to see. Yeah, so it shows up completely different over here. So that's syncing. It's not gonna work. Yeah, the lower the time frame, the volume just kind of shifts on it. So let's do no sync on that. But just reading that number off, it does line up with that right over in here, right through here. Yeah. Now the fact that it is above this trend line just means for me personally, I probably wouldn't look for it if it came into it. I wouldn't look for maybe this trend line doesn't hold as well. They're not in sync, so maybe it doesn't hold as well. But it's worth it to see it come back to that if we can get that. And I don't have a reason to doubt it right now. I only fade it when I have a reason to. So what else is going on in the market? I did want to catch you up on this. Let's get to it. So Micron, Micron, like I said, sniper. I can be one. I can be that used to be what I wanted to be when I grew up. Crazy. It's crazy for me to sit here and tell you that that's what I wanted to do when I grew up. Um, no, nobody's thinking about that. They're thinking about being doctors and lawyers and engineers. Me, I wanted to be a sniper, and I don't know why. And now I'm a sniper on charts because that entry was fire. That entry was fire. And don't believe me? Just ask. That entry, that entry, that that was fire. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I could have put that line anywhere, but I see the vision. So nice bounce up. Right now, what I'm really trying to see, get serious. Right now, what I'm really trying to see is whether or not we're going to reject that this golden pocket 786. If this is going to be a lower high, like there's structurally nothing changed. Nothing changed over here in this zone. Nothing changed. But could this be that price action is going to put in a lower high and then it's going to roll down? We're going to find out because we're going to have to back test this point of control right here. So right through here, we're about to see a test on this. The initial adrenaline that pushed price action up is now it may not work the same unless that same energy comes through here. You know what it's like when you have adrenaline, like you hit something and you don't feel it. Like you know what adrenaline feels like. Like it was here in this move. Now does it still have that coming back up, or is it going to reject? And then we're going to see price action start to put in maybe a 1, 2, 3 correction, maybe a five-way correction. Like what is about to happen right here? That's what we're really trying to figure out right now for Micron. The 24-hour chart, when we was initially looking at it and we were looking at the idea of taking a long entry right here, um, it looked good. I have not looked back at the 24-hour again to see, but let's jump on it. Let's see if anything changed here with the idea that that would be the pullback that we would want. Yeah, momentum broke down below it. So I would have to look for a swing fail because initially we were looking at this. We were like, okay, yeah, this looks good, but it is going to come into some resistance. Going to look for a pullback. On the pullback, I really wanted it to hold this trend line. So now it could be a situation where it's just coming back up to reject and roll down. So just be aware of that with the micron position because that is the only thing. Now, it may be a situation where I just have to move this line. Maybe that's it. I don't know right now. All I know is I can look for a swing fail on this trend line. But the long entry was given. So if you are in the long position, and I reinstated it again the other day about the long position. Now, when market did open on what day did we do this? Was it Monday? Hold on, what is this? Okay, that was the long. That was long one, and I think that we were looking at another long. Yeah, so we were looking at two possibility long entries. The first one we slid through, we just slid straight through it, and then this was the second one that we were looking at. It's this one right here. So there was never a reason to enter in on that first one. Let me edit and delete this alert. I'm starting to get rid of them now. So this was the second one right here. Let me move to a 4 hour. 4 hour was the basis of us making our decisions on a long entry. So if that trend line was going to hold, the momentum line on the 24-hour was going to hold, then it would have been here. So that's why in the statement that I give on X, I tell you, hey, that one is, if it's not holding there, we're going to have to go on down here to this other one that we were looking at initially. And yeah, and so that worked. So that's what we were looking for here. um, Whatever day it was. I know it was before we got down here. Yeah, it was. Price action was all up here somewhere when we was looking for this pullback into these levels. I know that much is true. And the short position, I think that hit full TP, but that was not given because we weren't looking for a short. We were looking for the long on MU. I just want to get rid of this right now. Um, that one, I'm just gonna delete that one altogether. The other ones just help me go back and study a little bit. We were talking about the momentum through here on the 4-hour time frame, stating how momentum came up and it started to hold here. It was just very choppy as f. It was choppy as ever right here, right? Like it was just so choppy. Like if you lost hope, I lost hope. Shoot, let me just say that because everything is a probability. I'm honestly not, everything is just a probability. Like we all like to toot our own horn and say, hey, we did this, we did that. And it feels good sometimes to do that. But in all honesty, it's just based on a probability. Maybe the probability works out, maybe the probability doesn't work out. So, but we understood this right here. And so this is what I harped on the other day. And I think that this was on, yeah, Wednesday. On Wednesday. Did I stream on Wednesday? Yep, it was on Wednesday. Harped on this on Wednesday that, hey, you gonna do better than me. Because even I personally, when I got into the micron long position, I didn't take it at my entry. I'm waiting on a reaction. I can say I'm waiting on something to hit this level right here, and then it taps it, and I'm sitting on my hands because I just want to be sure. Sometimes I will degen and have a limit set for it. But most of the time, I'm just not going to take the entries that I have until I see the reaction or until I see momentum change. But again, it's coming in here. It may and it may not go further. I don't know. I want to tell you I know. I don't like the breakdown on the 24-hour, but maybe take your focus off the 24 and focus on the 4-hour if you are in the micron long. Sandisk was the other one. Sandisk short may have been invalidated at this point. Oh, so far it's not. So far it's not, and it hasn't. I'm getting rid of these alert guys. I'm getting rid of. I got tons of alerts. I apologize. I be trying to find stuff that I can share. So all of these alerts pop up. So forgive me if if you get annoyed with the alerts, is because I'm trying to find something to try to be helpful. Um, Sandisk, short. I don't see my long vision for Sandisk just yet. I don't see my long vision for it just yet. It looks like the RSI is trying to flip positive, but would I take it? I wouldn't. I really would rather see it respect one of the levels. And right now, I don't have that. So I would look for personally, just like with Sandisk. Like I'm just not gonna be in a rush. I don't care what level I have on my chart. I'm just not gonna be in a rush. Like either you gonna tap it and show some strength, or you're not, and I'm not going to touch you unless you do something like that. So I like to see swing fails. So in this case, I don't have a clean line that I can draw through here on Sandisk like we had here. Like that was a clean line to say momentum gonna break down, bam. Momentum gonna break up, bam. Momentum gonna break down, bam. I don't have anything clean right here. That's why I'm waiting on one of these right here. I ended up having to do that with Micron too, as you notice. I had to do this as well. So I need to see RSI break down below here, which means that it comes into my red um, ribbon, which it actually did tap it. Huh. It already tapped it. Sometimes you can't tell whether or not it did something especially when it leaves a wick behind. You can't tell. I'd rather see it fall below it and then come back up. Like Micron did the same thing, where we got into this section of the ribbons and then it started to chop real hard, trying to hold on to that support. So that's what I would rather see. Eh, for me, it's just a no go right now. But it did tap that when I was. Uh, I need to see that again. It's gonna have to do it again. So it does it again right now, and I want to see it come below it. So it'll be between 1540 and 1513. It would be between that. I would like to see that because the idea actually on the short was for price to come back and test this prior high and this fair value gap, and neither one has happened. So trend line right here that's trying to hold on to, cool. But there's nothing else I like about it. VWAP is holding it down. It's my last tap was right here. That's the one, the last clean tap. The one that draws out this last tap right here. Two touch, three touch, trend, holding it down right now. So I like to see it come down into here. I want this to finish playing out for anybody who did take the short. Posted on X. There were two positions, and of course, the final idea was to wait for the breakdown right here, uh, and you can see that the value area high moved up. It was right here, exactly where the entry was at. It was right here, so It has moved up now. Um, a little close to that order block right there. I entered into an Intel long. I was hoping, and it looks like it might pull back on me a little bit. But I was watching. Let's see, Bitcoin trying to hold that mean reversion there. That 76. It's holding it. It's a little green candle come in. I'm sitting on the sideline right now on Bitcoin. I hate to sit on the sideline with Bitcoin. But like I said, I don't see anything that would tell me to do anything else. Not right now, I don't. I'll just leave that alone. So I entered into an Intel long position. I do expect for Intel to put in like some bear divs on this right here, but it pulled back pretty deep. I actually got in after I could see an attempted recovery. The little blue triangle right here is it's a band signal, just like with VWAP, not VWAP, but the Bollinger Band. It's not from the Bollinger Band, but it is a band signal, and I use the commodity channel index to help me identify those. So that's what it's based off of. It tends to work. It just depends on the environment. It's in an environment where it could be successful, and sometimes it takes two. So I'm thinking that it might, and with this break, it might put in some bear divs. So you can see like we're not actually above this high, although the RSI is above this high. We're not above this high, so um, we're possibly hitting that yellow band right now because you do the opposite coming up. The orange, I meant, yeah. So you do the opposite coming up. So yeah, so we're coming into this one right here. That could be a rejection point for it. It's a big spread right here. It could be a rejection point for it. But if not, then we will invalidate the bearish idea, and we will push up into the mean. The RSI mean right now is at 95.71. I'm assuming that this information is properly correct. This is 24-hour trading information. Sometimes indicators still, sometimes they don't always follow along. I think, I don't know. I'm guessing, but this was a golden pocket tap right here. This was a golden pocket tap right there. I think I have that in here. Fib, yeah. So it was a golden pocket tap right there, and I have it all the way down here to the 786 because that's where my next zone, my short term zone is for Intel. And crazy thing is, I actually had considered. I was thinking about it when we were holding right here, and then I was like, "Nah, you better just wait on that. Wait on the momentum shift before you get in." It would have been just like still getting in right there, though, right? Back at that low right there, but yeah, it would have been just like that because I entered right here on this closure. I entered right there. Uh, I think I have that in here, uh, unless I don't for my long entry. It was like, girl, you could have just got in on that golden pocket. Mm-mm. Yeah, but that was a nice little tail on that candle right there. But the reason why I didn't is in terms of the momentum as well. We didn't close above it. This candle didn't close above it. It pushed above it, but it didn't close above it. So I was like, just kind of chill a minute. Because really, you want to see if you get a nice candle like this, you want to see your next candle closing above it, not just taking liquidity off of it and not managing the close above it. It's weird. So we'll see. I don't think it gets too far. That's why it's not a big move that I'm looking for. But uh, that's the Intel long that I'm in. Um, I saw Apple starting to spill over. Um, yeah, it was starting to spill over. I didn't cut it. I didn't cut it. I thought about it. It had a fast break right here, so you can see like where the trend color flipped on it as well. But it had let me do it like that. So it had this fast break right through here, and then you can see how it came up with that wick for the rejection with the bear div, or would have been bear div coming up. Um, and now it started to break yesterday, so I'm not sure. All I know is where I felt like the original target would have been when I initially posted on the short for Apple. It was me saying that price action would come back, maybe test the momentum line there, or I would be looking for it to come right here into the major pivot area right here. That was what I was looking for. And then we got down and we started holding the golden pocket. And then it looked favorable for a second there. So maybe this is nothing. Um, right through here, it could be a nothing burger. I always treat it like it's something until it proves it's not. That's just how I operate with it. It has to prove that it's not a nothing burger. I do see I have a low here and I have a high here that I can match, but it's starting to turn against me. So I probably, because I re-entered. I re-entered. I entered here. Um, I actually entered back over here, and then this was the setup that I was waiting on to happen on stream. But I was like, nah, don't mess around with it, and then it started holding. And so I re-entered on it. Um, somewhere right in here, I re-entered on it. Was it there? Somewhere back in here. Right back in here, I re-entered on it. I saw something that made me want to re-enter. Um, but I don't know. Um, hasn't been the best. Hasn't been the best. I mean, it's got to hold on right here, right? And Google. I was about to get into this one anyway. Let me stop that. Let me see if that's an alert that I can drop to. Google's been struggling. And like I said to you, there's a rising cloud in here on Google. And whenever I see that, it's bearish. So I don't really like that part. When we got the break back down here, because we've been putting in bear divs, you can see I really need to see Google forcefully push above here right now. So that's why this is here with the line like that. I really need to see it push above here because the initial entry on Google was from here, this initial break here with that initial break there. So it was right here. And then it was this. And of course, the bearish divergence is what we did. We did bear D. I do this too to recognize bearish divergence as well. So if you see these lines down here, it's not always just about the momentum break. It's about recognizing where momentum is not as strong as it looks. It's easier to see it if you have something on the chart to help you see it. So by me drawing the lines, I'm able to look at it and be like, oh, we're here. And that forces my eyes to look left and be like, we're bear diving. It's not going to go. I need to wait on another break. And then the next break happens. And see that break failed? I tell you, sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. It just lets you know whether you're strong or you're bearish at times. You just got to take it for what it is. And okay, all right, that's enough. I'm gonna cancel that alert. I need it. I really do need that alert, but I'm gonna cancel it. Just leave that there for me. You see it rejecting already, so I might have to let this go and just take it as an L. Like I'm giving myself room on it, but this the signals that I'm seeing that are just telling me that this is you just it's just bearish, honey. It's just bearish. Um, that's what I'm taking into account right now. So when I say QTD, if you've never been here, QTD is this, and when this pushes up, it makes it harder. It's a strain. It shows absolute weakness. It says, I'm weak. Now this it's trying to hold on, which is why the white line, I call that a scale. That's why it keeps pushing back up into it because it's trying to hold. But when the cloud rises, um, it's just showing that who's in control. And right now, bears are in control. So I don't trust the price action when I see that. Bulls are fighting, but bears are in control. And that's why it's moving away from price action. It should be coming down to go under price action. It's not doing that. That's when you can tell you have strength coming in on a good move. Is when it's when it starts to roll down, but it's not doing that. Like I need to see that. I don't see that right now, and that bothers me a lot. It's like a traveling it's a traveling wall. So your RSI doesn't move. It's steady. The RSI doesn't move. It stays stable, right? You have your area where you define this is 70. If you use 70, I use 80 and I use 20. uh, but most people use 70 and 30, right? It's just a flat horizontal. It's your wall. It's your wall and your floor, 70 and 30. It doesn't move. Your RSI will cap out on you, right? It'll stop moving. That QTD is modeled behind the RSI, except it moves my wall. So I can tell when money's coming in and when money's going out. And that's why I trust it. But yeah, this is a headache and a struggle right now. All right, nothing's changed with Bitcoin, guys. Nothing at all. I'm still looking for something that tells me, hey, we gonna find a little strength again. I don't see it right now. Even if it bounces, I don't care. I want to find something for you if you do care, but I don't see anything that's like saying take it. At least not on the 15-minute. I can roll down to a lower time frame. I just don't trust lower time frames like that. It's too noisy. I really don't like lower time frames on stock market. I tend to do 3 month time frames. I've really just gotten into doing more of the 4 hour on the stock market. But going lower just gets you in trouble. At least it gets me in trouble. I'm no good if I go lower. Um, but yeah, I might have to cut it. I'm not sure. Microsoft, same thing. We were talking about the fact that it could get back up here into this trend line, this channel. It did that the other day. It even got a wick over here. Um, but it was just showing that it was bearish at the highs up there. I'm thinking a squeeze is going to come for the stock market, though. I'm really thinking a squeeze is going to come. I'm thinking that, oh, AVGO, I was looking at it yesterday. I can see that we dropped back to the low of the pattern here. Put us on 24-hour, just kind of and let it make a little bit more sense ever since we got the breakout. And then we came into a rejection point, but the ultimate, I was looking forward to actually come back up to the top side of the channel, um, beyond this point right here, because that's the last one for me. It's right here. Some bad news hit, and then it started to drop. Initially it looked like it was going to hold there, got a little small push up just for the continuation down. uh, it looks like it will continue to drop, but it came back to the low part of the triangle that it was trading in. The channel low is here, uh, but what I was looking at the other day suggested the 640 or right here at the 309. It's not definitive. Like usually I try to say something like well in advance, but this is the best I can do right now. Um, it's to say 340 or 309. Just like you can always take my levels and just look for price action to come in and show some respect. That's what I do. If I got a level again, if it drops my level and it comes up and it starts to hold on to it, that's what I want to see. Um, if it drops my level, comes up and it starts to reject, that's what I want to see. And so it might, it already came up and rejected one time right there. Um, my eyes are down here though. At 340, are probably finally giving up this channel and coming down here to 309. Like, but I mean, we'll see. Am I going to do it? No. I see that it's trying to hold this channel. It's trying to hold this channel. Hmm. I'm too scared to touch it. I don't know if there's any news that changes what caused it to get this drop. But it's a no go for me right now on AVGO. I just figured I'd touch bases on it and say, hey, if it continues to push down, like what can you look at in that channel? If I put it here, you can see it a lot better. This has been like we've been able to call the highs. It looks different on the time frame because of the weekly time frame isn't going to show you after hours trading candles. It's not going to show you that, so it looks a little different when I zoom out to the higher time frame as opposed to anything from 24-hour and down. But we've called tops on Broadcom using this channel. Like we've only hit it twice down here at the low, so I would be looking, like I said, um, perhaps it wants to hold the channel. If it loses it, I know 340, and then I know down here at 309, the major levels is what I would be looking for on it. And they're pretty good. They work pretty well. At least I try. So that's my basis here for that. Actually, let me do this. Let me just see. Like, this isn't going to be updated information. Yeah. So that would be a 28. Uh, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. We come down more. How we handle right here between the channel low and the 340. That could be a good little bounce spot right there. But that is a lower high. So coming down here means structural change. Yikes. That would mean a structural change, right? I don't. Oh, SpaceX. Remember I was trying to see if it was going to hold here. Like it broke down, and I wanted to see if it was going to come back and respect it. I like to see it tap it again just to be sure on that 132.98 there. I just want to see it do it again. I want to be sure about that. Um, because we did have those shares to hit the market on the 20th. I failed to speak on that yesterday, but we did have those shares that hit the market. So far, it is coming down slower than it is coming down slower. I'm gonna give it that. I'm not buying any anymore, not right now. Like it's gonna really have to drop back down into these, scare the crap out of people levels. I don't know if people get scared or not for real, but it's gonna have to come back down. Like I have a DCA plan, and my DCA plan requires it to go lower. If not, then what I have right now is all I'll ever have. That's that. I'm not bringing up my dollar cost average. I'm lowering my dollar cost average. So, very much in the money right now, um, on SpaceX. But we'll see. So I just highlighted, based on the 4 hour time frame, where price has seen swings at before. So that's all that is. As you can see, that was a strong swing right there, which is why that one's here. It was a strong swing. It was a strong. I'm having a hard time with that word now. It was a strong swing. Therefore, coming down, breaking it, and respecting it, it means something because it's a strong swing. If it does it, all right. Other than that, just walk it down. It's my next strong swing. See how we do all the way down. I'm not buying through here. It's just research. Um, when I buy again, it will be off of our trend, just like I bought here. I did buy the golden pocket, and I bought the 786, and I buy again right here at the 27, 1.272, and I buy no, that's the 1 to 1. I buy again at the 1 to 1. I buy again at the 1.272. I buy again at the 1.618. If it happens, I don't know if it happens. I just know I'm not buying up. I'm buying down. I'm buying down moves. I'm not buying up moves. Like this is up. So that's what I'm looking at, here for SpaceX. We'll see. I'm just trying to find a decent entry, somebody who actually needs one or wants one. Let's see through here. Yeah, like nothing. I see nothing. That's actually pretty nice. I like that formation. That's something I can work with. That formation right there. I can work with that. I can work with that for sure. I like the bullish divs underneath here. That was a perfect swing fail right there. Bam. That's the perfect swing fail right there, back above that point. So I like that. But at the end of the day, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not gonna take it. But I like the structure. And for all I know, it can be ready to do one of these again. I don't know. This was the work it gave coming down, like just continue, and then you get this break, boom, you think you got something, you got nothing, you got bear div. That's why I say I put something in here, and then that way I can look and see where I'm at, look to my left, bear div, boom, bear div all the way through here. The continued move to the downside was all right through here, putting in the bullish, putting in the bullish, but the bear divs will come across the top, so you had nothing until finally, boom, bam. Thank you, ma'am. You just know it's coming. That's it. You just know it's coming. And at that point, that's why I parallel park right here and look for a breakup. I parallel park where I've been rejecting that, and I look for a breakup. Um, which is what I'm doing with Sandis right now, and whoever else it was. I'm not sure who it was, but that's where we're at on that. Oil. We made it to the second gap. Hooray. I think we can get rid of this one now. Sometimes, you keep these on here because price action will come back and treat them like support. Gaps can be previous gap supports, or price will gap down over a previous gap. We go ahead and take that one away now because we're inside of this one right here, underneath what we had left over here. So we had already pushed up and filled in a little bit of the gap. So that was what the remainder was, and that is what we are rejecting underneath right now. If that information is correct, as it is delayed by 15 minutes, data is delayed. Okay, all of this right here, I can walk this stuff up. Now, I'm. Uh, walk it up to the new information. This is not my everyday levels. My everyday levels are different, which I can look at those. Um, this is me taking into account previous information. I'm gonna put this one. I think that was all right. I think that was all right. It's already did that anyway, so I don't know if I'm gonna touch that again. Um, I'm not gonna touch that one again. I'll leave that one alone. But in terms of my everyday levels, we are, yeah, we're at that major pivot right here, 87.19 as well with the gap here. So yeah, I can. I don't trade oil. This one came from here, so you can see how I tend to do things. This one came from over here, right here. Came from there. And when we got here, I did holler at you and say, hey, we got one. Got our hole because we kept chopping on it. So we had our hole. So I think it may have landed in the same place as it was before. So you'll see that it was this one right here. That's how I base my decision. And then yeah, so this one I don't have to move that in any way whatsoever. I'm gonna slide that out, and then you can see where my bottom one on new information is coming in at. But it did whatever this was right here, so I'm not interested in using that. And then you can see again gap right there, and then I would put one right here up here at this high right here. So I would have had one here if I didn't already have that gap there, so I don't need it, and I'll put one right there, and that's my operation. Um, I'm gonna say about this trend line right here though. I'm just gonna start a new one. I'm gonna leave this one on here though, just in case price action can come back above that. That's fine. What this is doing. I'm gonna straighten it out because I can see that little wick right there. So it is a working trend line. You can see it is a working trend line. So we're gonna use this because price action respects it. I'm gonna do this. I know it can get annoying at some point when I'm starting the stream, and I'm gonna hide it, and then that way I don't have to have it on here. I can identify what's happening. All right. So price action does respect this trend line. It's a good one to use for a failed option, a failed, yeah, a breakdown. Let's put it like that. Here, yeah, see, we got that break, and then it started to hold right here, and you can see where we got our break up right through here when we were holding onto here. So we got our break up right through there, and yeah, so bear divin for sure. It is bear divin for sure, but I'm gonna have to adjust it because it was initially, this was all the information I had at the time to go off of. So I do need to adjust it. I didn't have a pivot yet. I just had this little crap right here. That's why this is my second touch point when it should be down here. It should be. So you can see the difference now. So you can see how with that trend line up top, how it is respecting it, with the exception of that wick that it had gave. I got to take into account that information. So there we go with that. So now we twinning top and bottom there uh, with the bearish div right through here. So I need to see an invalidation. Need to see an invalidation if my let me see if that's above my head. No, it's below. So that's that looks good. It's below. I was looking for some sort of a ceiling on it right there outside of the bear div, but I don't have one. I don't have one. So I just have to see an invalidation here, and I can't tell you what it's going to be because it's down here. The two I would have looked at for something like that is sitting down below it. So I have nothing. That's an alligator mouth. It's decent. It's decent. It looks good on oil right now. Besides the bear div, it looks good on oil. All right, I'm still waiting on Bitcoin. We still doing our thing over here. I'm gonna check in on it with you. Oh, it's time for me to go. It's well past time for me to go. I do apologize. So momentum still pinned down. That's why we're not rolling back up just yet. Still trying to see if we're going to get down here to the trend line right here. See if we don't hold somewhere around this trend line for another little boost up. Maybe it's just back to let's just pretend for a second that if that is what we end up doing, I can't tell you directly, but you would just have to pull. I'm just gonna turn this off. You would just have to pull your fib, and let's just say we're going to be looking for a golden pocket 786 back test and see if that will be a rejection point or not. Maybe it is. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But if we do that, we come up and reject with a little lower high right here, it might be worth the chance of taking it right there. Looking for a rejection, looking for price to stall out right through there. And then we can get a bigger drop back down, maybe just even coming back into that the golden pocket that we broke above. It could be something like that. So I don't have the information down here to say where this bottom ends at. So I'm gonna have to delete that off the chart. But that's something that I'll be playing. The idea I will be playing around with. Just waiting on that to happen. So let me take this off. Just waiting on that to happen and see what we got. But love and appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And I will see you in the next one. I hope your weekend is wonderful. Thank you.